in winding few slots available at the YEA's Mating Jobs Fair.
Because you're all hoping to get a job. Because thousands of people are out here searching for a job. If I'm not lying, about 6 years now, I'm in the house. It's not easy.
Well, it's only God. I've been trying to move out of this country, not today. That has been my option all this while because I've seen some sort of unfairness in the system.
We tell you why government officials responsible for the fair insist Ghana has an abundance of jobs.
A number of companies are struggling to get the right people in place. It is not that jobs are not in Ghana. Jobs there, but boys and girls no day.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
Top Story is always brought to you by Gas and Cement, the nation builder. Is also brought to you by Vodafone. Together we can. It was billed as the grand fair that will offer on-the-spot jobs to young and unemployed youth desperate to make a living. Well, as it turned out, the Youth Unemployment Agency's jobs fair has triggered a mad scramble for the few available jobs, with winding long queues that has overwhelmed the conference center. We will shortly hear from some of the job seekers who have been queuing since 5 a.m. today. But first, listen to Director of Business Support and Policy at the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program Office of the President, Franklin Owusu Kaikouri, who insists there are enough jobs in Ghana.
One of the serious challenges hampering organizations, and our duty as NEIP is to groom entrepreneurs, is to groom people to become job givers. And as we work with them, the key challenge they face, for me, number one, is not money. Number one is human capital, human resource. A number of companies are struggling to get the right people in place. And that's why I keep saying that it is not that jobs are not in Ghana. Jobs there, but boys and girls no day. Our duty here is going to help these young people to appreciate what these enterprises and SMEs are doing and the challenges they face to getting the right people in place, for them to have a good mindset to take whoever's job they are on as their own businesses. And that is how you can be able to create your own. And we believe that through this, I will live here having people who are entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs as well.
Well, my colleague Justice Beru has been queuing with the job seekers and joins us in the studio. Yes, I say you've been queuing. You were not in search for jobs, are you? But how long were the queues when you got there?
So to know how long, you need to look at the geography of the area. If you look right from the Ridge Runabout, which is about 600 meters away from the conference center itself, there's a huge
from
traffic.
the entrance of the conference center.
Yes, from the entrance of the conference center. There's an unusual traffic on that stretch, and the main reason is that you have many young people who are basically just taking a trek from the runabout to the conference center itself. So vehicles basically need to slow down to have these people cross and then go back and forth. And then once you get into the inner area of the conference center itself, right from the fence to the entrance of the center, you have the queues building up from there, because they only have a certain number of people who are allowed into the center itself, where you have the people who are employing exhibited. So it's basically a struggle to get into the very small area where you have the few people who are exhibiting to employ people.
Are all these people from Accra?
No. So there were a lot of people who had come from outside Accra. Apparently, there is an arrangement to do this on the regional level, but many people either didn't know that, or either weren't sure by the time they had gotten to the regional level there will still be jobs available for them, and so they took the risk, and many of them had been here from
Early
about
bird
5
catches
a.m.
the worm.
So
Yeah.
So one guy that I spoke with who had come from Kumasi said, yeah, I mean, I wasn't doing anything at home anyways, and I'm not sure if this is really going to come to the Ashanti region where I live. So I would rather come here and then see if I could have a job here.
So drove all the way from Kumasi to come and queue. I mean, curious to know, and you've been talking to, you have a lot of stories from some of these. I'm curious to know where he's sleeping tonight, for example, or is he going to go back? But there are some interesting stories who I've been sharing with you. They are heartbreaking stories of how they've been looking for jobs for years.
Yes. So this particular guy who left school in 2012, he said he trained as a teacher and came out of school in 2007 and then got a job that was paying him 200 Ghana cedis. It wasn't enough for him and for his 4 children and wife. So he went back to school to study civil engineering and has been out of school since 2012 and has been trying to land a job with that qualification just so he could earn a living out of that. And he hasn't been successful at that. And he lost his teaching job, which he was doing at a private school when COVID struck last year. And it's not been easy for him, and he's part of the many who are here today looking for jobs.
Because we are all hoping to get a job. Because thousands of people are out here searching for a job. So we are all hoping for the best. At the end of the day, we hope everybody will get wherever he or she belongs to. So many years now, if I'm not lying, about 6 years now, I'm in the house. You know, it's not easy, but we are still managing. But as for today, we are all hoping for the best.
Look for a job. That's why I'm here. I now have a family of about 4 kids. Everybody depends on me. So you should know what really I'm going through. So it's only God. Because the 1,000 is my take home from the school. As I said, I do other things. Paying about 150 cedis for rent. My brother, the fact of the matter is that I've been trying to move out of this country, not today. It's rather unfortunate that if you go through my passport right now and see the kind of visas I have in my passport, you will be surprised. That has been my option all this while because I've seen some sort of unfairness in the system.
So this young man, he's not a young man obviously because
He's a young man. He's a 37-year-old.
37-year-old. He has 4 children and a wife.
4 children and a wife.
Lives in the place that pays he pays rent
150 cedis.
Wow.
He pays 150 cedis for his rent. His 2 children, he pays 400 cedis each for school fees, and he earns 1,000 cedis a month. And lost this job last year because of COVID.
Wow. Okay. There were reports of a stampede of a sort earlier today.
So because of the high numbers of people who were trying to enter, and obviously because of the limited spaces available for people to enter, there was some scuffles between the people who wanted to get in, and then the police. They had actually called in police people to ensure order. Some of the job seekers showed me a spot where they say there was actually I could see blood stains, and that were from some of the scuffles that had happened at the earlier today, because basically there were so many people, you basically could not find a place to pass through if you wanted to get into the space where the exhibitors are.
The organizers themselves you've been talking to, this is a YEA and other government agencies that have put this together. What have they been saying about the way it's turned out?
So they are very excited
huge interest.
They are very excited about the interest that has come. They say that they expected the numbers to come in because obviously unemployment figures are very high in the country, so they did expect that the people were going to turn up for this. They say that there are 3,000 jobs that they are looking to fill between today and tomorrow, and they have
in Accra alone? In
Accra alone. So they have about 100 companies that have come in looking for people to employ.
I see. Well, I want to bring in, thank you, Justice. I want to bring in the Director of Business Support and Policy at the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program Office of the President, Franklin Kofi Kaikouri. Mr. Kaikouri, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you, Evans, and good evening to your listeners.
Did the numbers overwhelm you today?
Yes, NEIP actually not part of the organization, but we are a sister agency. So we were called in to also look at the other side of job creation. Okay, at least we also have to be in there to see how best to introduce the other alternative of entrepreneurship to the people. So we were delighted to be there and also to join our sister organization, YEA, to look at how best we can be able to help the youth of this country. And I was actually, when I saw the numbers, I had to get to the executives, the leadership of YEA, and they told me that a number of them were not supposed to be there because the plan is to get to all the regions. So people were coming from other regions to join in. Maybe they were not certain that the train will get to their region. So the numbers were overwhelming.
And I heard you say today that it not be say jobs no day, but boys way they no day. As in, the jobs are there, we just can't find the people. But isn't the evidence in what you saw today that jobs are simply there? Just people are desperate for jobs. Anything they can find, they will do.
Yes, Evans, let me clarify that this is the reality of the situation, okay? Until YEA decided to do this, people were not aware that at least there were 3,000 vacancies available. And these were vacancies that they have been able to identify and they want to fill within today and tomorrow. So these spaces were available. Okay, look, I interface with over 80,000 micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises within the work we do at NEIP. Most of these micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises are not getting people even for them to work with. So we call it the paradox of jobs. Okay, people are looking for jobs, they are not getting people. People are also looking for jobs, they are not getting vacancies, a place to work. And that is why there's the need for us to bring the employers together and begin to look at identify all these loopholes. And those who can also be enterprising, we help them with ideas, help them to be able to share the ideas they have and put money in their hands. When you see these gatherings massing up, that is why government agencies are coming together to see how pragmatically we can work together to alleviate this situation in our country through the proactive job search for these people and also through entrepreneurship development. It is key. And the reason we discovered that most of these micro and small scale industries are not getting the right people to work with was that, first of all, they cannot be able to afford a certain limit of remuneration. So graduates are coming in, they want to be paid 2,000 cedis and above. These are companies, they have started 2 years, 3 years. They are looking for the right resource people to work with. And these people are charging that they can only take 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. And because these people, these businesses can also afford the services of this, they are also left behind, not getting the right people to work with. So we need to be able to see how best this gap that has been created can be filled. Jobs are there, but because the people cannot afford the right remuneration, people are there, they're also not getting the job, and they are not coming down to take this remuneration. Evans, I can tell you that those who came, about 40% of those who were present at the international conference today already have a job, but they are looking for a better offer. That's why they were there for the interview session.
Stay with me, Franklin. I want to bring in the employers, Association. Kingsley Lair is research officer with the Ghana Employers Association. Joins us on the telephone. Kingsley, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you. Good evening to your listeners.
Is that your experience too at the Ghana Employers Association that you have this this conundrum, as we've had Franklin articulate, that you actually there are slots, but you can't find the people to fill it?
Exactly so. First of all, let me begin by emphasizing that the youth itself constitutes a potential resource for growth and development. But of course, their worth will only be realized if they are gainfully and productively employed. And by that, I would also want to highlight that the skill set of workers remain an important element for enterprise growth and development. So when it comes to employment-related matters, employers are very much concerned about the skills the employee brings on the table. Now, zooming into the specific skills areas required by employers, GEA periodically conducts surveys to ascertain the outlook of skills required for job vacancies on the market. The latest of these surveys was the one conducted in 2019, and in fact, we found that Ghanaian labor market is actually fraught with skills shortages and gaps, with prominent sectors like manufacturing subsectors facing difficulties in obtaining the right caliber of workers with requisite skills to produce efficiently. Generally, let me go straight forward to the top 5 highly sought after but lacking skills on the labor market that we are facing now. Our surveys indicated that, number 1, effective communication skills is a highly sought after skill but lacking on the labor market. And as we all know, our Ghanaian economy is highly driven by the services sector. So employers, require people to attend to clients and even market their products efficiently on the market. And if they don't have that skill set on the market, it's a challenging matter. Another skill set that we identified is reading and writing skills, computer or IT skills, problem-solving skills, and analytical skills. And in fact, even anecdotal evidence also suggests that some employers sometimes resort to experienced expatriates and skilled workers from neighboring countries like Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and Nigeria just to fill job vacancies, particularly in the construction sector. So in fact, yes, as you rightly mentioned, the issue of skills gap is of high concern to employers in this country.
So when you listen to what we just heard from the conference center, the desperation, the queues, the overwhelming of the place, what's your reaction as an employer from the Employers Association?
I
Does that surprise you?
believe that skills gap and shortages periodically we attribute to a whole number of factors. And I think it is time we revisit the table and, re-strategize on the specific areas that we can, adopt to ensure that we quickly mitigate these challenges.
I wonder, the employers, what do you make of interventions such as we're seeing play out at the conference center today? Bring your members, some of them together, and let people queue and give them instant jobs. Is that even feasible? How does that even work? What's your verdict on that?
Come again, please.
I'm just wondering what your take is on the intervention which is playing out at the conference center. Some of your members, I believe, the employers, have been brought together in one place as a jobs fair. People are queuing, interviews are happening, and people can get on-the-spot jobs. What's your verdict on that approach?
I honestly think it is not an efficient approach to get the right skills to fill jobs. Skills development in itself starts from the classroom. So I believe that we need to get to a point where there's efficient collaboration between academia and industry players to actually train people on the right set of skills they require to be able to fit on the labor market. But to have a one-time sort of interview, I think that it's an ad hoc way of looking at the situation altogether.
Frankly, what's your reaction to that?
Hello, Evans.
Yes, what's your reaction to that about the approach that we've adopted today with the 2 days? You just heard the Employers Association make the point that it's ad hoc. It may not fix the problem.
Yes. Okay, Evans. I think the plan for this is to create the environment. Now, the CVs, obviously you can undertake all the interviewing of 3,000 people today. So this was to create an avenue. People were able to drop their CVs, and now they know directly where the vacancies are. So the organizations will call them after here. Once this program is over, there's a continuity, for that engagement between the one submitting the application and the employers. So this is to begin to bring that level of engagement between employers and job seekers. And this is a good platform for us to begin the discussions from there. And apart from that, there were other workshops held to be able to help people develop right working attitude and skills, and also to be able to see how that they can improve on their work ethics, and also be able to learn other means of they creating jobs for themselves. So it's not just about the interview. So it's something that's going to continue. They have also created an online portal, which is the job portal for that YEA has opened, which has also been introduced to the public for them to go there. And that is also going to function to bring available jobs from the various employers onto that digital platform and be able to match it with those who qualify to take up these available jobs. So it's not just an ad hoc thing. This is to begin the discussion, begin the process of interfacing the job seekers with the employers, and begin the work from there. And it will continue to how to measure the sustainability plan. Remember, this is under the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations. So there's going to be a continuity as they move around the rest of the regions.
From what we understand, for Greater Accra alone in these 2 days, their plan is to offer as many as 3,000 jobs.
Yeah.
For just Greater.
Yeah, this is for Greater Accra.
So there are 3,000 jobs on offer in these 2 days.
Offer, vacant available on offer.
And then you go to Kumasi and also have a target of how many jobs?
So they are still looking at all the various organizations, the employers within the region. So they look at the employers within the region, then they look out for the vacant positions that they are looking out for. And this is being done across all the 16 regions to ensure that all those private sector jobs, vacant positions are filled with the right skilled personnel. So at the end of the day, once they are done, YEA will come out with a total jobs that they were able to fill within the space of the period.
But this is going to travel to all regions of the 16 regions of the country.
Yes, that's the plan of YEA.
And you've heard today that people have driven from all over the country to Accra because, legitimately, wouldn't you say that they're afraid that the jobs will finish?
Evan, that is the reality of human life. Everyone wants to, at least, the early bird catches the worm. But the YEA's plan was to ensure that you stay put in your region and be able to, once the train gets to your region, and I'm sure they have outlined the activity plan when they are going to be in each region, which they have shared with all those who applied.
I mean, how many employers sign up for this? I've set up at the conference center today.
Okay, YEA will be able to give you there are over 100 employers. YEA will be able to give you the details on that.
And also, let's address what we heard to be the stampede that happened today. I mean, you see the desperation in people's faces. There definitely must be better security going forward.
Yes, I think the organizers have identified these challenges, and within the subsequent ones, to be better managed. I think they grouped the people. There were some who were supposed to come for the morning session and some to come for the afternoon session. You know, Ghanaians, naturally, even when you know that your time is for 1 o'clock, you see the person trying to sneak in by 10. So these were some of the organizational bottlenecks. I'm sure it should be addressed in the subsequent one. They'll be traveling to the rest of the regions.
Thank you very much. Frankly, Kofi Kaikouri is the Office of the President and is the Director of Business Support and Policy at the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program. Kingsley is with the Employers Association, also joined us earlier. I want to bring in very quickly Florence Hatchful, is an HR consultant, joins us on the telephone line right now. Madam Hatchful, I'm grateful that you could join us. So this approach has been adopted today. Interviews have been carried out. We just had an explanation of this. You drop your CVs, there's an interview that is done, and you get an opportunity possibly to get an on-the-spot offer, or they'll call you and do a follow-up. From an HR point of view, what's your take on this approach?
Well, let me say that if adverts were floated and job profile were also advertised, and people actually knew exactly what they were applying for and had therefore, applied for specific roles, then it's possible that they were interviewed for those roles. But if, adverts had not been floated, people just brought their CVs and were interviewed, one would ask what roles were they interviewed for? What roles were they interviewed for? Because, interviews are carried out on the basis of available vacancies. And those jobs would typically have been profiled with competency requirements, behavioral requirements well outlined. So that is the question that I would pose. What positions, what jobs were the people being interviewed for?
I mean, how do you sustain this, for example? I mean, even for the employers who had pitched come at this fair, and for those who create an opportunity, how do you sustain this? Is it even sustainable?
No, it is not. It is not. I think that for most of employers who actually participate in career fairs, etc., they would have specified the positions or the roles that they need to fill. And the candidates coming in would, submit their CVs based on the vacancies that would have been advertised. And therefore, as they come for the interviews, the employers are also able to identify those candidates who fit their specifications. But if all of this background was not done and people were just coming in and being interviewed, then I don't think that approach is something that is sustainable, something that would, satisfy or fulfill the requirements of employers. Because it sounds to me like it was very mass, the approach was a very mass approach, and that would typically not be the best.
I'm grateful, Madam Hatchful, for joining us with your thoughts on this. Were you one of those queuing today at the conference center? I want to hear from you. 055 1111997. News Nights in a minute.
55, 78, 58, 78. Hey, Charlie. My network is really killing me. I have to pay my uncle's workers via mobile money, but the charges alone, it's about 380 cedis. Charges alone just to send money? That's $10 of cement already, my guy. Listen, bro, you can save money on charges if you move to Vodafone Cash now.